Subscribe to the MTL World at Mythal World 1 YouTube channel. Swallowed Star 2, Land of Origin. Volume 11, The Hunyuan Blade Dao. Chapter 412, The Power That Shakes the Infinite Hunyuan Space. 27th of Volume 11. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Kafusho's palms, as massive as mountains, blocked the first strike. The power of the first blade was terrifying, crushing his palms and slamming into his entire body. This power was extremely heavy. Despite being weakened by the white battle armor, 70% to 80% of the blade's power still permeated every inch of Kafusho's body, causing his formidable physique to tremble violently as countless fissures erupted across his skin. HMPH, Kafusho grunted, his eyes burning with renewed intensity. At the same time, the second blade arrived swiftly. This second blade strike was dazzlingly brilliant, yet utterly different in style from the first blade strike. It carried an unstoppable aura, piercing through the white battle armor and tearing into Kafusho's flesh. In an instant, his body was cleaved into dozens of fragments, resembling shattered porcelain pieced back together. Magnificent, Kafusho exclaimed, his voice filled with delight despite his fragmented state. Boom. The third blade descended relentlessly. Vast and relentless as a surging river, the third blade strike cascaded through the white battle armor and into Kafusho's body. It resonated with the residual power of the first two blades, unleashing their combined force in a cataclysmic explosion. Bang! Kafusho's formidable physical body exploded into a massive cloud of blood mist. Yet within the white battle armor, the mist coalesced, reforming Kafusho's body. At that moment, Kafusho's energy reserves was weakened to a mere 20%. However, he was also continuously absorbing the power of the Chaos Destruction Realm, rapidly replenishing his energy. 3 blade strikes, it completely obliterated 80% of my energy. Kafusho roared with laughter. Looking at the infinite Hunyuan space, only Shajo has ever achieved such a feat. Shajo and Lord Xingmeng are universally acknowledged as the two most powerful beings, yet their styles are completely different. Lord Xingmeng excelled at manipulating space-time, capable of observing past and future events and calculating every possibility. He specialized in protracted battles, relentlessly pursuing every ounce of an enemy's strength. Shajo, on the other hand, embodied pure destruction. Her lethal techniques, honed in the mysterious Passage Valley, instilled fear even in the ancient beings. Although Mo Shu possessed unparalleled destructive power, his methods are crude and clumsy. He required close proximity and the tip of his bizarre cube to unleash his devastating force. Any Hunyuan ancestor or lord with even a shred of intelligence could easily evade it. But Shajo's destructive techniques are inescapable. This is why Shajo resides on the 27th level, while the Mo Shu remained on the 22nd. 3 blade strikes obliterated 80% of Kafusho's body. If those blade strikes landed on me, I'd be finished. I can't withstand them head on, absolutely not. From the fact that he and Kafusho have been fighting for more than an epoch, Luo Feng's strikes are nearly impossible to evade. How could Lord Luo Feng's power reach such heights? One by one, the ancient beings pierced through the barriers of time and space to witness this battle. Yet this battle filled their hearts with dread. Over 90% of the ancient beings reached the same conclusion. Against Luo Feng, retreat is the only option. Direct confrontation is suicide. Direct combat. Kafusho served as a stark example. Kafusho is in top 10 powerhouse, clad in battle armor, and possesses a formidable physique. Yet after just 3 blade strikes, he was reduced to this state. I've heard that the most challenging path for a practitioner faction member to become a lord is breaking through with force, the infinite serpent Hunyuan ancestor thought, his colossal serpent body coiling across half the Chaos Destruction Realm as he observed Luo Feng. As the innate leader of the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction, he had naturally gathered vast intelligence on the practitioner faction. The various paths for practitioners to break free from the cage are not secret, and the infinite serpent ancestor had easily obtained this information. Xingmeng broke through with force, and Luo Feng did the same. Xingmeng's strength rivals that of Shajo's. Moreover, he can observe the past and future, almost every possible future. Just facing him is already a headache. Luo Feng only recently became a lord, yet he's already on par with Xingmeng and Shajo. The infinite serpent ancestor, naturally possessing detailed criteria for evaluating other Hunyuan ancestors and lords, had already concluded after observing the battle. Luo Feng, Xingmeng, and Shajo are on the same level. They represents the absolute pinnacle of combat power within the entire infinite Hunyuan space. Although I can suppress Kafusho, even after prolonged combat, I can't destroy more than 80% of his body, the infinite serpent ancestor sighed inwardly. This destructive power far surpassed his own. The leader of the other major faction, the Ice Peak faction, had also meticulously observed the battle. He remembered every clash between Luo Feng and Kefusho with perfect clarity, analyzing them countless times. Luo Feng's destructive power surpasses mine, Bingfeng Hunyuan ancestor inwardly admitted. If the difference had been marginal, he might have harbored some resentment. But the gap was too glaring to even compare. He's on par with Sister Shajo. Bingfeng Hunyuan ancestor's eyes burned with resentment. His authority and influence stemmed largely from Shajo's unwavering support and shared destiny. His command over the Ice Peak faction far surpassed Infinite Serpent ancestor's sway within the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction. Considering that the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction has the 9 sovereigns, nominally equals. Infinite Serpent ancestor had to court numerous Hunyuan ancestors to achieve his influence. Even then, the giant God Emperor faction largely ignored him. In contrast, the entire Ice Peak faction bore Bingfeng ancestor's name, making him the nominal absolute leader. In reality, every Hunyuan ancestor in the faction, except Puji Hunyuan ancestor, dared not openly defy Bingfeng Hunyuan ancestor. I can't wait to fight with Luo Feng, a peculiar cube-shaped being vibrated with excitement. He craved adventure and relished combat with the strong. His destructive power rivals mine. The gray-robed woman stood on the deepest, 27th layer, her eyes gleaming with desire for battle. Across the entire infinite Hunyuan space, few could draw her into combat. Her clash with Lord Xingmang had been utterly unsatisfying, she couldn't even touch him. Shajo, however, craved the collision of ultimate destructive forces. She yearned to see who truly held the edge. Brother Luo Feng, do you need this chaos destruction realm? Kefusho asked enthusiastically. For him, a thrilling battle was far more valuable than a mere chaos destruction realm. No need, Luo Feng replied, shaking his head. Kefusho, just have your realm envoys attack me with full force. Occupy a chaos destruction realm. The 23rd to 25th levels are all unclaimed, making it easy to seize any of them. He might even be able to push deeper, to the 28th or 29th level. Naturally, he couldn't accept Kefusho's offer. Very well, Kefusho nodded, immediately commanding his 230 realm envoys to attack simultaneously. These realm envoys resembled plant-like beings, their countless branches twisting like arms. This destructive power. Luo Feng stood firm, allowing the realm envoys' attacks to strike him. A look of delight spread across his face. It could be called the life-severing power, composed of 70% destruction and 30% life. The destructive power of this level proved immensely beneficial to him, marking only the second instance of a destructive power fused with life force he had encountered since venturing into the abyss of destruction. While Luo Feng immersed himself in cultivation, his battle with Kefusho sent shockwaves through the infinite Hunyuan space, drawing the attention of more and more factions. The innate Hunyuan lifeform faction, born from the boundless Hunyuan, controlled over half of the infinite Hunyuan space. Many regions lacked origin worlds, yet still teemed with both low-level and high-level Hunyuan lifeforms. After all, consuming an origin core of the origin world required at least a world-level Hunyuan lifeform. The vast majority of low-level and high-level Hunyuan lifeforms, however, needed far less resources to grow. In one such remote region, one of them was ruled by the Xuanhuan Hunyuan ancestor. Xuanhuan Hunyuan ancestor sheltered his own clan and many other weaker tribes under his protection. He has no desire to participate in any conflicts. But his strength was too weak among the Hunyuan ancestors, forcing him to align with a powerful faction to ensure his clan's survival. Thus, he joined the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction and chose the giant God Emperor faction, which shared his aversion to conflict. Not every Hunyuan ancestor is warlike. Joining a major faction is often simply a means for their clans to thrive. If any Hunyuan ancestors are solitary and unburdened by attachments, they could easily seclude themselves in some hidden corner or conceal their life core in an undetectable location, living as they pleased. But with a vast clan to protect, they either needed overwhelming power to defy all factions or had to join a major power for protection. After Xuanhuan Hunyuan ancestor joined the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction, his entire clan could finally prosper in peace. No one dared to attack a Hunyuan ancestor of the innate Hunyuan lifeform faction lightly, as such an act would be a direct challenge to the entire faction. Moreover, as a staunch supporter of the giant God Emperor faction, he would also receive their protection. Of course. When the giant God Emperor faction went to war, he would be expected to participate as well. Truly terrifying. This is far more dreadful than the previous war between the two major factions. Xuanhuan Hunyuan ancestor gazed remotely at the abyss of destruction, having witnessed the battle between Luo Feng and Kefusho. The abyss of destruction is the domain of the most formidable beings in the entire infinite Hunyuan space. Shuiyu Hunyuan ancestor himself would likely be blasted out of the first level by Ba Fau the moment he enters. Although Ba Fau had kept a low profile before Luo Feng, he was still ranked among the top 30 existences. Why would he even deign to acknowledge an ordinary Hunyuan ancestor like Shuiyu? Kafusho, ranked in the top 10, is a being I can only look up to. Yet over half his body was annihilated by just 3 blade strikes. Shuiyu Hunyuan ancestor marveled. Lord Luo Feng must be among the strongest beings in the infinite Hunyuan space. If I ever face such a being, I must not engage directly. Immediate retreat is the only option. Hunyuan ancestors with weaker direct combat capabilities often excelled at self-preservation. After all, they were beings who had mastered at least one highest level power, shining brilliantly in their specialized domains. There were so many Hunyuan ancestors who had witnessed the battle, and even those who hadn't could easily obtain combat recordings from their allies, allowing them to clearly observe the entire clash between Luo Feng and Kafusho. Most of these ancient beings lacked the qualifications to compete for the first level of the Abyss of Destruction, but they possessed secret observation techniques that allowed them to make accurate assessments. They could all discern Lord Luo Feng's approximate level of power. If you offend Luo Feng, you must flee. You cannot withstand his direct attack. Magnificent! Lord Mo Man exclaimed with delight. As expected of someone who broke through with force. His strength has already surpassed ours. He's already stronger than me, Lord Jin murmured from the 13th level, watching Luo Feng cultivate on the 16th level. Despite this, Lord Jin remained critical of Luo Feng's territorial management policies. Luo Feng sought to eliminate all opportunities for calamity class practitioners, believing that such beings treated the entire origin world's lifeforms as mere resources, perpetually monopolizing the world through endless cycles of reincarnation and crushing all hope for the weak. From the perspective of countless weak beings, Luo Feng saw calamity class practitioners, those who sever all hope, as beings who should never exist. Lord Jin, however, deeply admired calamity class practitioners, viewing each one as the most exceptional elite who had clawed their way to the top from among countless others. He himself had walked this path. Different paths cannot be reconciled. Lord Jin is willing to occasionally cooperate with Luo Feng for the sake of the practitioner faction's overall interests, but he preferred to maintain his distance in ordinary times. Just because you're stronger than me doesn't mean you're right, Lord Jin thought. Negu and I are both calamity class practitioners, and in the future, there may be a third or fourth. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to MTL World at Middle World 1 YouTube channel.